How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly. You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season. We look at data for the season for the NHL Nashville Predators, and make comments upon it. Yeah, okay. So I guess my earlier problems today. Welcome to the podcast. I'm recording this on Thursday, 27th of February. And this podcast is going to be about the upcoming weekend preview. I'm going to preview the games with the Islanders and the Rangers coming up this weekend, back to back. Saturday and Sunday. Saturday's game with the Islanders is at 11:30 Central Time. I mentioned in the last podcast, I've got a number of things going on tomorrow that made me question whether or not I would actually be able to do a podcast tomorrow. And then with the early game on Saturday, I wasn't sure whether that worked out either. So I'm recording this today, which means the Islanders are playing Boston tonight, the Predators are playing Winnipeg tonight, and the Rangers play Toronto tomorrow. So none of those games will have be reflected in this podcast, and whatever transactions occur between now and then, I also won't be in this thing, and I'm going to skip some of that because it's not as it could change. Anything that could change between now and then doesn't seem, in a significant way, doesn't seem like it would be worth covering, as opposed to going on ad nauseum about how I'm not going to do something, which is way better. But anyway, welcome to the podcast. So the postseason watch, we're just going to skip right on by, and we're going to start talking about our opponents. This Saturday, we are going to, this weekend, we're going to be in New York. I'm not going to be in New York, but the Predators will be in New York to face the Islanders and Rangers. So Saturday will be the first game of two versus the Islanders. We will play them again in Nashville here in early April. I think it'll be there'll be 5 games left when we see the Islanders again. Islanders are kind of outside the playoffs. The Islanders and the Rangers could, when I was looking at this earlier, they could. They still have a chance to make the playoffs. So the Preds do not. Not even going to. It doesn't matter what happens tonight with the Winnipeg. The Predators are not going to be able to get to 93 points. They would have to win out. And there's 25 games left. So yeah, not going to happen. That's fine. But that's why we call it the postseason watch, which I'm not talking about. But the Islanders and the Rangers could make it. And the Rangers made a decent trade, or a big trade, earlier. And we'll talk a little bit about that as it comes up. But the Islanders, we're playing the Islanders on Saturday. And last year against the Islanders, we haven't played them yet this year, but last year The home team did hold serve. Nashville won 3-1 here in Nashville, and then the Islanders won 2-0 in New York. The Islanders have a very interesting record. So they are 25-25-7. 25-25-7. They are 7th in the Metropolitan with 57 points. They are 2 points behind Philadelphia, who has played 2 games more. They do have an outside chance at the playoffs. They are 7 points out of the second wild card spot, which is currently held by Columbus, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, between them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 other teams between them and Columbus, which include the Rangers, who are the first team out of the playoffs right now. I guess Ottawa and New York are tied at 62, but let's see. New York breaks that tie with the regulation wins, 27-22. But yeah, so they'd have to climb over all of those teams, which not that they can't, but it becomes more combinatorics than just your 7 points out of a playoff spot, right? So, but anyway, as I was saying, their records are really kind of interesting. They are 25-25-7 against East Coast Eastern Conference teams. They're 16-16-3. Against Western Conference teams, they're 9-9-4. Against the Pacific Division, they're 4-4-2. And against the Central Division, they are 5-5-2. So that is one really weird-looking, strange record where they're 500 across the board. Now, they have a losing record against the Atlantic, 8-10-1, and a winning record against the Metropolitan, 8-6-2. But that's how they get to 16-16-3 for the East, right? I saw that. I just had to comment on it. So there it is. I commented on it. All right, for the Islanders, their current schedule is in my opinion, a little goofy. They before tonight's game in Boston, they were home for 2 after the first 2 games after the break. So they came back from the break. They played 2 games at home. Then they're in Boston. Then they're home. Then they're at the Rangers, which I guess is don't really have to travel. I wonder if the Preds announcers would even call that a road game. And then they are in Winnipeg, and then they go on a 3-game trip through California. So it's just kind of interesting that they're away, home. A game, you see that a lot. I mean, it's a schedule, right? But anyway, so I just thought that was also kind of interesting. But this is a 1-game homestand for them on Saturday. They will be playing Boston tonight in Boston. Since the break, they have lost all the games. And again, they're playing Boston tonight. And they enter tonight's game on a 4-game losing streak. So most likely, not that I'm going to curse them or anything, or actually have any skin in the game. I'm betting. If I would guess. Boston is 27-24-8. Boston is 24-8. I was going to say, I would bet the Islanders are going to lose tonight. Boston is 18-9-5 at home. So they are a much better home team than a road team, and they are playing at home. The Islanders are 12-12-5. Jeez. Yeah, again, so they're 13-13-2 at home and 12-12-5 on the road. And they're 5-5 in their last 10. Boy. There's no way to make that make. It could be an overtime loss, and then that would keep the even numbers going there, but they're the tied numbers going. But I'm kind of expecting Boston to win that game, and so Islanders will come into Nashville on a 5-game losing streak. If they don't, they'll be coming in on a 1-game losing streak, and So they had a 4-game losing streak, and the thing is, at the end of January, they were playing pretty well. They had a 7-game winning streak. So they've kind of gotten a little goofy. Don't know what happened. They went on they had a 7-game winning streak. Sorokin was in goal for all of those games. Hogberg was Hogberg's last game. We'll get to their goalie issues later, but so they won 7 in a row, then they lost 1, won 1, and now they've lost 4 in the row. Running into a little bit of difficulty here in February. February not being an Islanders fan favorite month so far. So they've been having kind of a toughish time right now.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
As for the New York Rangers, this is the second game of 2 versus New York Rangers. We did win. Nashville did win here in Nashville 2-0 earlier today. Last year, it was the visiting team won both. The Preds won 4-1 in New York, and the Rangers won 4-3 in Nashville. That was last year, the visiting team. So it's different from last year. I'd like to see the Preds come out with a win. That would be good. Break that streak. The Rangers are 29-25-4. They are 14-12-2 at home. Fifth in the Metropolitan with 62 points. As I said, they're 6 points behind the Blue Jackets, who are currently in the wild card spot. So. And the Rangers are next. So they have been bouncing in and out of a playoff spot this season. They were, let's see, I had them, back in mid-December, I had them as a wild card team. They dropped out. That was after the Trouba trade. They dropped out. They dropped way out. By my calculations, they would have been next to last or tied for last with the Islanders to be in the Metropolitan. And then they played well enough to get back into the first wild card spot with Columbus in the second and stayed there until, I guess the middle of February. They must have gone on a bad run there to close out the break. Just taking a quick look again, and it doesn't look too bad, but not good enough to stay in a playoff spot. And actually, Detroit seems to have played their way recently into looking like a playoff team. But this is, we're talking about the Rangers. We're not playing Detroit. The Rangers are on a 4-game homestand. They play Toronto tomorrow night, Friday. Then they will play Nashville on Sunday and the Islanders on Monday. That back-to-back will be their 10th back-to-back. Looked it up, and I forget the number, but 10 is not 10 is a lot, but it's not the highest in the league. And then Washington will come in to play to end their homestand. As far as personnel goes, the Islanders have looked like they have about 4 players on injured reserve. None of them had anything, they're just looking at basic stats and nothing to report. So it doesn't look like they are missing the players. It could be something like, Evangelista, whose stats don't really show up for what he means to the team. So, that intrinsic stuff or the work side of things doesn't really show up in a stat sometimes. And so it couldn't didn't see anything to note about those guys and didn't notice any transactions either. So they must, even though they've got these players on injured reserve, they must be comfortable with their roster. For the New York Rangers, on the other hand, they are missing a number of key people. They made the big trade with Trouba to, wasn't it Vancouver? And they got JT Miller, center number 8, JT Miller, who acquired from Vancouver. I guess that, but yeah, I went back and checked it. Yeah, sure did. Not sure if he's going to be around. He's apparently ill, not an injury. He's ill, so he's day to day. His name didn't even show up on Puckpedia as being out, but he did on ESPN. So he could be back. So today's Thursday. We play a Saturday. Probably won't be back for tonight's game, maybe, but yeah, he could be back. Interesting thing with him, he has 44 points this season, 14 goals and 30 assists, which is pretty good. Since he was acquired, he's got 9 points in 8 games, 5 goals and 4 assists. And for the season, he's got a shooting percentage of about 14%, but as a New York Ranger, it's 35.7%. So he must really like shooting now that he's wearing the red, white, and blue. So if he is back, he will be somebody to worry about. The other people that they are missing, that they are going to miss, are the two defensemen that spend most of the time on the ice. Defenseman Adam Fox and Keandre, I'm not sure how you would say that, but I think I'm saying it right. Keandre Miller. They're both, Miller is another Miller, is day to day. He's expected back tomorrow, so he may be back. Adam Fox is not expected to be back until next week, so he will not be at the game on Sunday. He also has first in assists, first in time and ice, 23-13, first in assist with 43. So Adam Fox, they will miss him. And I'm assuming his line mate, Keandre Miller, he's second in time on ice for the team with 21-43. So that's a lot of time that they have to make up on the defensive line. And I think they will miss those two players. They have recalled Matthew Robertson from the Hartford Wolfpack. The Wolfpack. Gotta love it. My brother went to NC State, NC State Wolfpack, so I like that. Anyway, so that's your players. So the Rangers will be missing a couple of people. Could be Key. And the Islanders don't seem to have too much issues with their roster.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
The Nashville Predators. This is heading into tonight's game with Winnipeg, so some of this would change. Some is definitely going to change. The Preds are 20-30-7. On the road, they are one of the worst road teams in the NHL, maybe the worst. I didn't go back and check again. 6-18-4. They are 7th in the Central Division with 47 points. 13 points behind St. Louis, 6 ahead of Chicago. They're just right there in that sweet spot where nobody's gaining on them and they're not gaining on anybody. Like I say, it's like going down the highway, when you get through a pack of cars and you're looking up the road at another pack of cars and you've got enough room between them that it's just real comfortable there. Because look, if you take a look at the league standings, Buffalo is 6 points ahead, played one less game, and the Blackhawks are 6 points behind, having played one more game. So The Predators are solidly the third worst team in the league right now, at least as far as points, not as far as personnel goes. I feel like their record doesn't stand up to who they've got going on the ice, but you've got the points you've got. Personnel changes. Like I said, some of this could change. Yossi is day-to-day. For those of you maybe not familiar with the Nashville Predators, Roman Yossi, the captain of the team, and he's the time on ice leader, and he's third in points and third in assists. So he's somebody that would be missed quite a bit. So first time on ice, Jankowski is out again. He could be back tonight. It's unclear. Zachary Leroux is on injured reserve, moved from day-to-day to injured reserve, not expected to be back until next week. He's second on the team in penalty minutes. That's his one thing. And yeah, okay. I should have just said something instead of. So Austin Rose, still not planning on being back. Don't know. And no new transactions for the Preds. What they've got is what they have. Okie dokie. So the Preds road stats. Oh, this is going to be fun because they are 6-18-4. So it's a little hard to look at something like that and go, okay, what situations does it look like they win in? Let's see. On the road, if they get the first goal, they are 5-3-2. So 5-3-2. So roughly 500 if they get the first goal. If they do not, they are 1-15-2. So they have not gotten the first goal on the road 18 times, and they have one win, 2 overtime losses. So that's all of 4 points if they do not get it. So and that one time that they did get it was in the first period. So 1-9-2 in the first period, 0-5-0 in the second, 0-1-0 in the third. The good news there is the Preds, when they get the first goal and it's in the second period, they are 3-0. When that happens, woohoo! 2-3-2 if it happens in the first period. Okay, so that is the first goal stats. Now, okay, so how do they get here? Their record by period is not very good on the road, which it still could be, even though they've got a, bad record, doesn't mean you don't. But so their record in the first period, looking at just that first period in and of itself, do they score more goals? Do they not? They are 5-9-14 in the first period. So, they're half as likely to tie as to do anything else. And I guess the other half's twice as likely to lose it. And then in the second period, 7-14-7. So, half as likely to lose it. And the other half split between winning and tying. And then when it comes to the third period, they're 6-13-9. So a little, I guess that's a little better. I don't know how to look at that, but so 6-22. I mean, the tie, you can't say these ties not a loss. It's not an overtime loss. It's a tie. 6 wins, 13-9. So maybe that's just an interesting distribution of points. So what I usually like to do after I do that is say, okay, how does this correlate to what happens at the end of the game? And, with a record of 6-18-4, what this is going to sound like. Here's a good number. Okay, we'll just walk through the periods. So the 5 times that they've won the first period, they are 1-4 in those games. The 9 times they lost, they're 1-8 in those games. And the 14 times that they tied it, they're 4-10. So I guess the best number out of all of that is the 4-10 tie. So, maybe on the road, the best thing you can hope for is for them to tie in the first period, and we'll get to a little bit about how that propagates later. In the second period, the 7 times that they've won the second period, they're 5-2. So that's good. Win the second period, and pretty decent chance of winning the game. If they lose it, they're 1-13. And then when they tied it, they're 0-7. So you don't want to tie or lose the second period. You can tie the first period and win the second period. And let's just take a quick look. When you tie and win the second period, they've done that 4 times, and they're 4-0. When they tie the first, lose the second, they're 6-0, or 0-6, sorry. And when they tie, they're 0-3-1. So tying the first, winning the second, oddly enough, looks like the key to victory. Of winning the first, winning the second, they have not done on the road, which they have done 5 times at home. 4 times they have won the first and lost the second, and those 4 games they're 1-1-2. If they lose the first and win the second, they're 1-1-1. So even money for anything on that one. If they lose the first, lose the second. Generally, if you lose 2 periods, you're going to lose the game. And in that scenario, they're 0-4. I think I skipped down from that. But looking at the third period stats, if the 6 times they've won the third period, they're 4-2. So, and if I take out the empty nets, then it's not so happy. They're taking out the empty nets. They have won the period 7 times, and they're 3-4. So that's not as happy. If they lose the third period, they're 0-13. Tying it, they're 2-7, and changes slightly if you take out the empty nets. 2-9 if they lose it, and 1-9 if they tie it. But definitely the more, I don't know, the happier scenario, oddly enough, is to tie the first and win the second. I like winning the second in general. Because the second period is one of the periods that they don't really do the best at. So that's the numbers on winning the periods and how that correlates to the end of the game. Next up is taking a look at the winning goal. Or goal scoring. Yeah, winning goal, right. So the winning goal, this should be interesting. It probably very similar. Taking a look at the winning goal being scored when they're on the road, 50% of the times it has been in the second period. And next closest would be the third at 25%. So solidly in the second period is when the winning goal is being scored. When the Preds win, 67% of the time they scored it in the second period. And when the opponents win, 45% of the time. So I think we can look pretty solidly at what's not going to happen this weekend is the winning goal will not be scored in the second period. Well, maybe it will. When I get to the matchups, it's going to really kind of interesting, some of the numbers that I saw there. And then, yes, when the home team wins, it's kind of split between the second and third, 33% in the second and 31% in the third. The road team winning, again, solidly in the second, 43% to 29% in the third. So definitely... definitely kind of the road's really still biased toward the second period. As I mentioned in the other podcasts, we talked about the home team. The home games has started to shift from the second period to the third. And that started sometime in February. It was very solidly overall in the second period, and now it's getting closer to the third period. In fact, overall, when the Preds win, they're scoring the winning goal in the third period 40% of the time, 30% of the time in the second period. Still, when the Preds lose, it's the second period. So, yeah, I think I think most of what we're going to see this weekend is the winning goal probably being in the second period. But, we'll get a little bit about where the Rangers and the Islanders score, and we might see something a little different. Yeah, so now looking at goal scoring, I'm pretty sure that's the next thing, right? Goal scoring. Yeah, goal scoring. Thank you. So goal scoring on the road for the Preds, they are being outscored. They are being outscored. In the first period, they're being outscored 18-27, and even when they win, it's 4-4. So it's not the best period. Again, I guess like the tie is maybe that's why the tie is so good. In the second period, they're being outscored by a lot, 14 goals, 23-37. And when they win, 13-6. So when they win, they are outscoring their opponents in the second. Then they lose, they're being outscored 3-1, 31-10. So that's a lot. And then in the third period, they're being outscored 30-19. When they win, they are outscoring 8-2. But then they do have 5 empty net goals. So in the third period, basically it's 3-2. That's interesting because they've got 6 wins, right? They've got 6 wins. So they have 5 empty net goals. I think they got 2 empty net goals in one game. And they're just 3-2 in that situation. So on the road, on average, the Preds are scoring 2.1 goals a game to the opponent's 3.5. When the Preds win, they're averaging 4.2 and giving up 2. And when they lose, they're giving up they're scoring 1.6 to giving up 3.9. So it's looking roughly about 4 goals a game when they whoever wins. Taking out the empty nets, everything drops about a point. So it's like the total on the road, the Preds are scoring 2 and the opponent's 3. When the Preds win 3.3, when the opponents win 3.5, and when the Preds win, the opponents are scoring 2, and when the Preds lose, the Preds are scoring 1.6. So definitely being outscored on the road. Not surprising given that what their record is, but not. Yeah, I guess not surprising. And even one of the things that I track is the difference in goal scoring based upon the scenario of where the Preds are. Are the Preds winning, tied, or losing? And interesting, the third period when the Preds are winning on the road, they are outscoring the other team 7-5, but they have 5 empty net goals. So really, when they're winning, they've been outscored 2-5 in the third period. When they're tied coming into the third period, they're being outscored 2-4. When they're losing coming into the third period, they're being outscored 10-21. The second period, the numbers are a little better. Preds, except when the Preds are winning. When the Preds are winning coming into the second period, they're being outscored 10-3. If they're tied, they're looking good, 12-15. So it looks like if they're tied coming into the second period, they're doing pretty good. In fact, if you remember that said earlier, the kind of the best scenario is to come into the second period tied and then win the second period. If they're losing the second period, they've gotten outscored 12-8 in the second period. So not what you're looking for, really. So
it is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Taking a quick look at special teams. I may as well jinx this one too, and then we can be done with it. The Preds have never been scored against on a power play in the first period on the road. They hadn't been scored at home either until the game the other night. And there you go. But they, on the road, in general, the Preds have led the other team in the number of goals scored in the power play, but now that's not the case. On the road, they're being outscored 18-14 on the power play, but the other team has gotten about 25% more opportunities. They've had 97 to the Preds 80, and looks like a lot of that has come in the first period because they've had 32 opportunities in the first period and scored 0, 38 opportunities in the second and gotten 11, and 27 in the third and scored 7. And that's, so 29% in the second period, 26 in the third. The Preds, oddly enough, are 29% of the power plays they've had in the second period have resulted in a goal. They've had 31 opportunities in the second period, scored 9 goals, and 31 opportunities in the third and only scored 3. They had 18 in the first and scored 2. So their best period for scoring a power play goal on the road is the second period. Go team. So that's I think that's the major takeaway from the special teams analysis. They've given up 4 3-on-3 goals, which is not surprising because they're lost 4 overtime. So just taking a quick look through it here, 5-on-4, they're even with the other team, both the Preds and the opposition getting 14 goals, with the Preds having 9 less opportunities. Where the difference starts to be making up is 4-on-3, they got 1. Yeah, that was that overtime loss. 5-on-3, they've given up 3 goals and 6 chances, 5-on-3. They've only had 1 5-on-3 themselves. So, in the 5-on-4 opportunities, they are even with the opposition, and what has made the difference overall on the road is that they haven't scored a power play goal in the other unbalanced configurations. They have a goal 6-on-5. When they pull their goaltender and they still score. So that's that scenario. That's maybe the only. One thing I do like to do is track goals scored during major penalties. When they're 5-on-5, so they're even major penalties, but there's no man advantage, and that's even 1-2. So I think the major takeaway from this is that the Preds on the road have not gotten they haven't gotten the calls, but the other team has definitely gotten more opportunities, and the bulk of those look like they're coming in the first period. Yeah, the other team is getting 14, so almost 50% more penalties called against the Preds on the road in the first period than are being called on the opposition, for whatever that may mean. But that is that stat. Okay, so let's look at the matchups. I thought I had the back-to-back. Hold on a second here. Okay. The matchups. So what are these teams good at? And primarily what I look at here is, in this section, is goal scoring. So goal scoring and so for and against. We played a couple of teams lately. In fact, Winnipeg coming in tonight, one of the best scoring teams in the league, the best power play team, the highest scoring team, and the best penalty power play team in the league. And so we're not not going to be up against that over the weekend, but it's interesting. So in goal scoring, the Rangers are 14th in the league, and the Islanders are down in the same territory with the Preds. So they don't score a lot of goals. The Islanders, that is, they've got 154 goals this season. The Preds have 146. Very similar. The Rangers have 176, so quite a bit more. And they're getting those in the first period. So they are 7th in the league in scoring in the first period. That is their big anomaly, 57 goals in the first. Now, they drop to middle of the pack. They score more goals in the second and third period. The Rangers do, but that puts them back in the middle of the pack because on league-wide, each period, the goal scoring goes up. So if you have the same number of goals in each period, you would decline through the league in your standing. And so, but the interesting thing there is that the Rangers score about the same number of goals in each period, 57, 59, 59. Kind of strange that way. The Preds similar, 46, 47, 51, very even scoring. The Islanders, on the other hand, do not score very much in the first period. They are next to last in the league. They've scored 38 goals in the first period, which puts them 31st. The Preds have scored more goals, so Preds score 46 in the first, Islanders 38. So they're not inclined to score in the first period, but then they do come back and they score 59, 53 in the second and third. And so they kind of, as far as the league goes, it's interesting. They are their highest scoring is in the second period. It puts them in the middle of the pack. Now, for the Islanders, goals against, very not even. I guess it's an evenly straight line. That goals against 46 in the first, 54 in the second, 64 in the third. So, kind of stair-stepping up. They're 18th overall being scored against in the league, middle of the pack, 20th in the first, 19th in the second, and then 15th in the third. The Rangers, on the other hand, have 180 goals scored against them. The Islanders 170, and the 180 puts the Rangers in 12th being scored against in the league, and 8th in the first and second period. They're 8th in the league and being scored against in the second period, and they dropped to one of the stingiest teams in the league in the third. They are 30th in the league of being scored against. They 59 in the first, 67 in the second, and 50 in the third. So they are tough to score against in the third period. So they like to score in the first, and they're pretty even. I would say league, I guess on league average, they're better in the first than other teams. Yeah, so their scoring comes fairly distributed through the game, but they are not going to give up a lot of goals in the third period, less than one goal a game. The Preds and the Islanders in the third period both give up 64 goals, which puts the Islanders at 15th and the Nashville at 17th, even though they've got the same goal total. I haven't paid any attention to how they do the tie, breaking the tie in these lists. It just gets funny sometimes when the numbers are the same and the raw numbers are the same, and then the evaluation of it is different. It's kind of an interesting thing to look at. So the Islanders are going to score their goals primarily in the second and third, and they're going to give up goals in the third. The Preds like to give up goals in the second period more than anything else, and their goal scoring is very evenly distributed like the Rangers, so that'll be kind of an interesting matchup to see how that plays out.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
In the penalty situations, the penalty kill, which the Preds have been good this season, it's kind of dragged a little bit lately. But if you want to talk about dragging, that's the Islanders. They are next to last in the league at 31st at 70.3% on their penalty kill. They've given up 36 goals on 121 opportunities. Now, contrast that with the Rangers, who are fourth at 30 goals on 170, and the Preds, who are 10th, 33 on 169. So they've had a lot more opportunities than the Islanders, but the Islanders have given up more goals. Now, the Islanders, with 121 times shorthanded, it is the lowest in the league. They are tied with the Vegas Golden Knights for last. So they I was looking at their penalty minutes. It was kind of refreshing because they don't have a lot of people with a lot of penalty minutes. But yeah, so their penalty kill is not very good. Their power play is numbers I didn't know existed in professional hockey. They are last in the league in the power play. The Islanders are at 11.3%. They have 15 goals scored for 133 opportunities. The 15 power play goals is the lowest in the league by 5. The Kings are next to last with 31st with 20 power play goals. So 15 power play goals for the Islanders. Also, their 133 power play opportunities is second lowest total to St. Louis and LA, 132. So they don't have that many power plays, and they don't have that many shorthanded. So that for the Islanders, you contrast that 133 opportunities on the power play. The Rangers have had 147. And Nashville's had 162. So the Rangers' power play is 19th in the league, just behind Nashville, or just ahead of Nashville, 21.1% to 20.4%. They've scored 31 goals on 147 opportunities to Nashville's 33 with 162. So Nashville's had 15 additional opportunities, but only scored 2 goals off those. So the Rangers' power play a little bit better than the Preds. The Islanders' power play is anemic, and so is their penalty kill. So the Rangers and Nashville match up pretty well on the penalty kill power play, and the Islanders could use some improvement on that manner. Okay, so let's. So next up are talking about the goalies, and the Islanders. If they had problems. So I'm pretty sure that at the beginning of the season, Ilya Sorokin was going to be the starter. Semyon Varlamov played the first 2 games, but then it did look like Sorokin was playing more. And Sorokin is still around. He's 20-18-4. He's the starter. Varlamov is 3-4-3, and he went on. He got injured, and so then Marcus Hogberg took over the backup, and he's 2-2, and he's now injured as well. So Jakub Skarek is the current backup. He's 0-1-0, and it looks like they really don't want to play him. Like Sorokin is playing every night. And what's Sorokin? He plays 5 or 6. It's kind of hard to tell because Skarek hasn't been up for a while. Hogberg was playing a little bit more often, as was Varlamov. So I'm not. I think Hogberg could be coming back. Not going to be back in time for the game with Nashville, and Varlamov not. But so they're a little shy in goaltenders. For the Islanders, this is the first game against Nashville, so there's nobody that's been in goal yet. Last year, Sorokin lost to Nashville in Nashville 1-3, and the backup then, Varlamov, won at Varlamov did win at home 2-0. Since the break, Sorokin has played both of the games. He's probably going to play against Boston tonight, and so I fully expect him to be in goal versus Nashville on Saturday, and probably against the Rangers. I'm not sure when Skarek might play again, but yeah, definitely. I think we're going to see Ilya Sorokin in goal against Nashville Saturday. As for the Rangers, the highest paid goaltender in the league and my favorite goaltender, both on this team, they're not the same person, unfortunately. Igor Shesterkin, he's 20-20-2 with Jonathan Quick. The inestimable Jonathan Quick is 8-5-2, backing him up. Shesterkin's been injured a couple of times this year. And he was in goal when we played in Nashville earlier this year. The Rangers lost 0-2. Last year, Shesterkin was in goal for both games, a 4-1 loss in New York and a 4-3 win in Nashville. Earlier this season, when I was looking at the who's playing, Shesterkin was playing 3 for Quick's 1, but more lately it's been looking like 5-1 if you take out the back-to-backs. Shesterkin has played the last 3, including the ones over the weekend, which were back-to-back. And he will probably be in goal against Toronto on Friday. And so then I'm expecting Shesterkin to play against the Nashville on Sunday. Now, as far as that goes, this will be the front end of a back-to-back with them playing Nashville and then the Islanders, and both of those will be at home. And this season, they have only won one of the front ends of the back-to-back. Their record in back-to-back games is not very good. This is their 10th back-to-back, so they've got 18 games, in the scenario, and they've got 6 wins. And, okay, so on your bingo card, this was something that I meant to do beforehand, and I didn't do, so I'm going through my data as I'm talking because I haven't written up the things I wanted to talk about. So that's on the bingo card of something I meant to do and I didn't do. Is do the analysis on their back-to-backs, but it looks like they have only won they've only won 6 of these 18 games, and only one of those was the first part of it, and that was at home with Shesterkin in goal against the Blue Jackets. The interesting thing about that particular series, they did lose the next game. They had to cross the border and go up to Montreal, so their back-to-back was at home versus Columbus and then up in Montreal. Which they've had a couple of, I guess 2 of them have been border crossings. And just taking a quick look at the wins, Quick has 2, Domingue When Shesterkin was out, they had a back-to-back, and Domingue, I guess, was in to win against Chicago. But Shesterkin doesn't have a great record in these back-to-back situations. He's got two of the wins. So two of the wins, and then so anyway, so from that standpoint, being the front end of a back-to-back, and the other team being the Islanders, which is a team that, it's a local team they probably compete with a lot, probably prefer to beat, and both of these teams are in the running. So I wouldn't necessarily say that the Rangers are going to look past Nashville, but the potential for the Preds having an advantage because of the back-to-back is good. So, but yeah, I think I suppose they could. I suppose if they were trying. No. I think Shesterkin will be in goal versus Nashville, and then Quick against the Islanders. That would be my guess. Yeah, so I'll stick with that. I'll stick with Shesterkin.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
As far as Nashville goes, Saros 12-24-6. UC Saros playing 2-3 for Justice Enunens 1, who is 7-4-0. This year, Saros was in goal against the win in the game against the Rangers, 2-0. Last year, Saros was in goal for the first, a win 4-1 in New York, and Lankinen was in goal for the loss, 3-4 in Nashville, and the same scenario for the Islanders. So for both the Rangers and Islanders last year, Saros was in goal in the first game for both of them, and it was a win. The Rangers beating the Rangers in New York and beating the Islanders in Nashville, and then Lankinen got the loss in both of those. Lankinen got the loss in Nashville to the Rangers and to the Islanders in New York. As for Noonan, he did not play in either game for Colorado last year. Colorado was 2-0 against the Islanders and 0-2 against the Rangers. And as far as the back-to-back situations go, the Preds also have not played in terribly well in these back-to-back situations. At least in this case, they don't have to cross a border. They've also, this is the 11th back-to-back for Nashville. They have 6 wins in those scenarios. 4 of the wins, I guess you would say, two of the back-to-backs, they won both the front and back, and 2 of them they won one of them, and one was the second and one was the first. And let's see, got a quick look through here. Well, they only played the Rangers once, so it was not part of a back-to-back situation, so nothing to compare right there. Most of these back-to-back situations have been also on the road. They have had 5 home games in these, and that's, I guess, 3 of the 6 wins have come at home. These particular games are on the road, so the home record doesn't really matter. But yeah, the Saros, they had the back-to-back over the weekend. Saros played against Colorado and Noonan against New Jersey, which again I think was the wrong order. We did beat Colorado and lost to New Jersey. Not that Saros, I do think it would have mattered. I think it would have mattered. I think both goaltenders had a little bit of rust. Noonan gave up one goal, just came out of the net too far, something he doesn't normally do, and wasn't in position for once it got passed. But 5-0, so one goal. But so Saros did play against Florida the other night, and he will be in goal against Winnipeg. So I think that will be to the last two games. And so I think it'll be Noonan and against the Islanders and Saros versus the Rangers. And so that is my guess there for the goaltenders. Momentum. So the Islanders have lost 4 in a row. They're playing Boston tonight. They're 5-5 in their last 10. The Rangers have won 2 in a row. They've got Toronto on Friday, 5-5 in their last 10 as well. When they come against Nashville, they will be starting a back-to-back. For Nashville, we lost 2 in a row. We've got Winnipeg tonight and 2-8 in the last 10. So the Winnipeg game tonight should be good. Should be good. Good home game. Players to watch. For the Islanders, that was a tough one. They're not like the Preds are a high-scoring team. All three of these teams have fairly similar numbers when it comes to points and goals scored and assists, at least at the people at the top. And so, the biggest goal scorer and the guy with first in points and the best plus minus even at 15 would be number 27, left wing Anders Lee. He's also second in shots. And so he would really be the one guy. Number 14, center Bo Horvath, second in goals, first in assists, first in points, first in shots. So I think those two guys are the ones you're going to see the most. Probably call him out. Number 10, right wing Simon Holmstrom, because he's got a 22.2% shooting percentage. He's got 14 goals on 63 shots. So that's kind of dangerous, but that's hard to quantify there. But yeah, I think to consider that, like Kyle Palmieri. Number 21, center Kyle Palmieri, second on the team in shooting percentage at 15.6%, which that's definitely a Predators type of number. 109 shots, 38 points, so with 17 goals. So yeah, I think you can safely stick with 27 and 14, the two people to worry about. If you really want to worry about 3, throw in number 10. So 27 lead, 14 Horvath, and 10 Holmstrom, just in case Holmstrom gets hot. And so that's the Islanders to watch. For the New York Rangers, if JT Miller, number 8, is back, I don't really, because he came over from Vancouver, and he is supposed to be injured, he doesn't really have the stats yet. The one stat that he has with the Rangers is that 35.7% shooting percentage, 14 shots and 5 goals. But overall, his shooting percentage isn't that great, but it is with the Rangers. It is primarily the person you have to look out for is number 10. Another number 10, yeah, so that makes it easy. This weekend, remember to look for number 10. Left wing Artemi Panarin. He's first in goals, second in assists, and first in points, 23, 36, 59. He's got the third worst plus minus at minus 10. So definitely things happen, and he's first in shooting with 167. So number 10, definitely. And then it really, it's strange, but no, I guess not that strange. But the other person really is number 23 defenseman Adam Fox. He's first in assists, second in points, and first in time on ice. So I think that that's where we could leave things is number 10, number 23, and then number 8 if he's there. Except Adam Fox. That's right. Adam Fox is injured. So I don't think he's supposed, I think he could be back. No, I don't think he's supposed to be back. So yeah, not him. I guess, Andre Miller, would be the person to watch, if he's not back. I guess Vincent Trocheck, it's tough when you've got players that are out like that. Points, looks like Mika something or another. Zibanejad. Ooh, minus 22 plus minus 40 points. Oh, I should have noticed that. Yeah. When he's on the ice, he's the guy when he's on the ice, you gotta pay attention. I like to have one of those. I don't always have somebody like that, but minus 22 plus minus. And so what is that? That's gotta be the worst on the team. It is the worst on the team. And he's third in points, with 40. So with Fox out, he would be second as far as people that are playing. But and so that's Zibanejad. Easy for you to say. And number 93. So I think 93, if 23 is not there, 93. Maybe even if he is back, I should have noticed that. Number 93. Need to watch number 93. So number 10, Panarin. Number 93, Zibanejad. Number 8, Miller, if he's back. But yeah, the Rangers are their top defensive pair seem to be out. Fox and Miller. So that could be trouble for them. For the Nashville Predators, the players to watch, unfortunately, they skate on the same line. So you've got number 9, Forsberg, 81, Marchessault, number 91, Stamkos, and then he'll also be out there at the same time, number 59, Roman Josi, but he's out there 25 minutes a game, so he's out there quite a bit. If you want to call it out the same way, Josi would be the guy to watch. I mean, he's on the ice so much anyway. He's last on the team in minus 26, and he's third in points with 38. So something's going to happen when he is on the ice, but he's on the ice 25 minutes a game. So that makes it pretty easy for something to happen while he's on the ice. So those would be the guys to watch. You'll see number 90, Ryan O'Reilly, out there quite a bit. He leads the ice time for the forwards. I guess they rely on him a lot to do face-offs. Supposed to be really good at face-offs. And so that would be the people to look out for. Most of them have a 9 in their number, or 9 in their number, or divisible by 9. 9 Forsberg, 59 Josi, 90 O'Reilly, 91 Stamkos, 81 Marchessault, divisible by 9, right? So 9 related. The Predators have somebody with a 9 in their number. It's kind of hard to pick through that real quick and figure out. I'd have to know that off the top of my head. I'm still gonna do it. Austin Roast, who's not playing, 93. Hopefully he'll be back sometime or another. But that looks like Josi's 59. Yeah, no, that's it, dude. with a goaltender 29, Annunen. So, yeah, if there is a 9 in the number for the Preds player, I guess sit up and take a notice. So, anyhow, that is the Nashville Predators weekend wrap up. We've got the Islanders and the Rangers this weekend, both in New York. The Islanders game is early, especially here in Nashville. I guess 12:30, not really that early. I don't care for afternoon games myself. I feel like they just kind of break the day up kind of weird, but. The game is at 11:30 Central Time on Saturday, 6 o'clock Central Time on Sunday. The New York Islanders and the New York Rangers. So set your DVR. All right. Well, that's the podcast. Again, I apologize for not having more up-to-date data, but I really want to make sure I did this. And so I know it's a little bit early, but hopefully the road stats are the road stats, and that's the important thing. So anyhow, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Go Preds, and thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor, and you've been listening to Predators Proclivity.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.